public hearing in room 14 at Town Hall, 235 North Street on Monday, November 17, 2008, at 7:15 p.m. prior to making a policy recommendation regarding the tax rate for FY 2009, determining what ratio of tax burden will be borne by residential versus commercial industrial property for FY 2009, and determine if there will be a residential or commercial exemption. The Board of Selectmen will take both oral and written input from the public before voting on the above questions. Signed by the Chairman of the Board. We'll start with the presentation, discussion with the Board of Assessors. We'll follow the outline that I went over a few minutes ago. So with that, who's speaking?
I'm speaking
Okay.
As Chairman of the Board of Assessors, who is trying to fit into the shoes of Alan Petroni, who is no longer with us.
Yes.
Hope we can do as well as Alan did in the past. The Board of Selectmen has the option of selecting a factor of 1, which in effect would adopt a single tax rate for all residential, commercial, industrial, and personal property classes. Or you can shift some of the tax burden off the residential class onto the CIP classes. If a factor of 1 were to be adopted, the single tax rate for all classes would be $12.04. This is determined by dividing the tax levy by the total tax on personal property. And for your information, the average single-family home value for fiscal year 2009 is $490,247. In consideration of that value, the table below summarizes. I'm sorry I don't have this on a PowerPoint presentation, but do we have copies? With a single tax rate based on the average single-family home value, the estimated fiscal 9 tax bill would be $5,903. With the maximum shift to 150%, that would go down to $5,481. On the commercial and industrial property, the average valuation is $922,581, and with the single tax rate, it would be $11,108, and with the maximum shift, it would be $16,662. And obviously, anywhere between factor of 1 and the maximum shift, it would be somewhat less. If the intent of the Board of Selectmen were to afford residential taxpayers the lowest possible share percentage of the tax burden, then the rates would be $11.18 for residential and $18.06 for commercial. And there's a comparison here on the average single-family tax bill. At the maximum shift, a single-family home would see a decrease of $321, and the average commercial industrial property would go up by $6,430. Are there any questions?
Just again, the 321 is on what? On which factor?
On the average single-family home assessment times the tax rate.
Just as far as the only thing is, if I'm looking at the first table that you gave us,
Yes.
you had 5903, and then the maximum would be 5481.
Right.
That's
Let's see. Oh, we're comparing fiscal '08 with fiscal '09.
all right. Thank you. All right.
All right.
I get you. Yep.
If there are 2 factors involved here. It's 2 different years. And
Yes. Yep.
With tax rate.
Thank you.
What is our current tax rate?
$11.50.
11.50. The average, value for a single-family home is $490,000 roughly.
Was $490,000 this year. Last year it was 504, 585.
So we're talking about am I correct, a $250 increase in taxes for a single-family home? Do I have that right? Using the 490, that's a roughly $500,000, and the increase is just a little over 50 cents.
Right.
So it's about $250
About that, yeah.
for an average home. Okay. Any other questions? Is there a reason why you picked 10, 25, and 50? Just for comparison's
In
sake?
between,
Okay.
yeah. Wakefield, I used 125, 50, and 75.
Mm-hmm.
But if we decide to
It's
make,
about 12 I'm sorry. Go ahead.
if we decide to make any sort of split, we can do it anywhere between 1 and 150.
Anywhere between 100 and 150%.
And the ratio of residential to commercial property is about 12%. Let's see that. Where I see that?
Right now.
There's a, shows a 5-year.
Thank you. Thank you. I'll share.
That just gives you a capsule of the 5 years.
Mhm. So the residential, for this current year is, for this tax year is 87.5.
87.53.
It's been in the 80,
It hasn't changed
87 and a half,
substantially.
88, it's been
Right.
pretty consistent.
In this period, it hasn't changed.
Mhm. And industrial's grown a little bit.
Personal property has increased a bit. quite a
Mhm.
bit.
Yeah, now, is that more or less due to more aggressive efforts on the part of the assessors to
Yes.
collect, rather than
Absolutely.
Right.
Yes.
take a bow?
Yeah.
Okay.
We changed companies that were gathering the information for us, and the new company knows what they're doing.
We've recently added to the new growth a number that, based on what we budgeted at April town meeting versus what was filed with the DOR, and I guess has been approved at this point. Some of that increase is the result of being able to make adjustments as of the end of June. Is that correct?
That's correct,
Right.
yes.
Is that where most of it came from?
Well, new construction, most of it comes during the year, but the fact that we can go up until June 30th gives us considerably more.
Mhm.
However, that, now our year runs from July 1st to June 30th, so it's not really because we can go to that date, but at some point in the past, we were able to switch, and we were able to actually pick up 18 months of growth
Mhm.
until we went on more of a fiscal year basis. But now it's basically from July 1st to June 30th.
All right, so this additional new growth is an 18-month
It was
increase?
an 18-month at one point in the past, and now it's a 12-month period. Now it's just from July 1st to June 30th.
But this is the first time we've done that.
No, we've been doing it through June 30th for a number of years.
Well, then,
But we were able to pick up this year, the
We-
berry.
oh, I
property.
see, okay, so
The
we
very
had
fir-
some major construction
The berry
brought up to a
property-
level of completion.
The berry
bef-
property was considerable, most of it was done between January 1st and June 30th this year.
Okay.
And that's why we had a big increase in
Mr. Chair,
Yes.
how was it previously? It was an 18-month process and not a 12-month process. What changed?
Previously, and I don't recall what the law was, chapter 353 or whatever. At one point, it was always, the assessments were determined as of January 1st each year. So it was from January 1st to December 31st.
Okay.
And then at some point in the past, about 10 or 12 years ago, a law was passed which allowed cities and towns to change their assessment date to June 30, based on values that are as of the January 1st, but we could pick up new growth through June 30th.
So there was 1 year that you
And
went
there
for...
was 1 year that
Okay.
we actually went from January to December to June.
Okay.
That was the 18-month period.
But that was not this year, that was
That was not this
number,
year.
that was after the town adopted the
That's
change,
right.
okay.
It was the acts of 253 or 353 or...
Okay, any other questions for the assessors at this
Just,
point?
Jim,
Yeah,
just
Mr.
in
O'Leary.
relation to Lincoln Properties now,
Yeah,
that is considered, would be considered under the residential?
absolutely.
Yeah.
It's apartment build, it's an apartment complex, and it's classed as residential. If you were to split the rates, it would be a residential rate.
And
And it's a partial completion also. It's not 100% this year.
You're 70%?
What was it at, 70?
70%.
And the remainder will be picked up for next year.
The, and this is probably a finance director question more than an assess question, but we received $5 million on the Berry project that we converted. We were on bands, just paying interest, to paying them off in September. We also have $2 million that we've just received, but that's just sitting there because we've already created a band for, I think it's around 2.6 million. So in terms of the overall assessment, because how does that, in terms of the tax rate, the override dollars have to be counted in calculating the tax rate, correct?
Yes.
So have we made the adjustment for that? How has that been worked out?
I'm not trying to understand your question. What do we do with the two?
I'm just trying to, we can talk about